Entrepreneurship, the capacity or the ability to solve problems. Entrepreneurship, also the passion to create value. Entrepreneurship, from the French word entreprendre, which means to do or undertake responsibility. I welcome you to this edition or special segment called Entrepreneurship Spotlight with me, Kolade, aka Think Up. And this is Omoluwabi 87.7 FM, the voice of integrity. It's easy, it's very easy to think creatively, but it's not actually easy to be a creative. It's pretty easy to think entrepreneurially, but it is very difficult to actually be a problem solver. Entrepreneurs solve problems. They solve societal problems. Last weekend, I remember vividly, I spoke extensively and brilliantly on entrepreneurial creativity and also capacity building. I said that entrepreneurship is 25% creative thinking and 75% capacity building. So that shows that capacity building is very, very key and crucial in entrepreneurial success. 25% creativity, 75% capacity. In other words, everything about entrepreneurship is capacity building. Capacity building. Creative thinking is the foundation of entrepreneurial process, no doubt. But we need to do more of capacity building if we must succeed in business, in entrepreneurship, and in anything we are starting at all. The journey of an entrepreneur does not begin with money, neither does it begin with money. It begins with a meaning. This morning, or this afternoon rather, we'll be talking about how to build entrepreneurial capacity. You have laid a very good foundation, no doubt. That is the foundation of creativity. But you need to build capacity to start, sustain, and finish what you want to do here on earth. As a means of digression, I need to quickly say this. I ruminated over it again and again. That was yesterday. The Holy Book says, where you are going, that is, of course, everyone is going to die eventually. So that place that you think is the final destination, there is no work. There is no knowledge. There is no wisdom. There is no skill, no device, nothing in the grave. So whatsoever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. Even when you are working for an organization as an employee, of course, we know the concept of entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur within an already established organization. So don't say what they are paying you is peanut. Do whatsoever your hands find to do with your might, with passion, with all that you have. Give it all that you have. You say, well, they are not paying you as they ought to pay you. But let me tell you something. The knowledge you are garnering over there is more than what you are being paid. And that was when I said in one of my books that learn to occupy, not just occupy. You occupy a seat, a position. You are the officer in charge of this unit. You are the officer in charge of that unit. Don't just occupy that seat. Learn to occupy. That is, look into the processes. Look into the activities of the organization and ensure that you take some of this vital information with you, because they are going to be very useful when you are starting out on your own. That was just a digression. Like I said the other time, entrepreneurship is a central issue in economic building, in nation building. Entrepreneurship seems not to be working because capacity building is not actually being actively developed. And that is because entrepreneurs believe that once they are creative, then they are good to go. You are not good to go. You are not going anywhere. Everything rises and falls on capacity building. I think I've twisted the word of John C. Maxwell this afternoon rather. And that is the work of creativity. Leadership is capacity building. Capacity building is leadership. Entrepreneurship is 25% innovation, 75% vision. What vision is to leadership is what innovation is to entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is 25% innovation rather. Creative thinking precedes innovation. Creativity is the bedrock of innovation. Innovation is what creativity looks like. So we know that it is only 25% of our journey. I said the other time that the journey of an entrepreneur does not begin with many, neither does it begin with money. It begins with a meaning. Yes, that brings me to a very crucial point now. Building entrepreneurial capacity. I said also last weekend that we are still a startup. Your organization is still where it is, not because you lack creativity, or not because your staff lack creativity, or not because your team members lack creativity. It's because you have not been able to build the required capacity that is necessary for you to start, sustain, and finish what you have started, or what you are doing rather. So creativity is no doubt necessary, but we must go beyond creativity and move to capacity building. This is Tini Kolade on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM, the voice of integrity. I have written an article for the Nigerian Tribune, and this will be published on Monday. My article comes out every Monday, so do well to pick up a copy of Nigerian Tribune if you want to read comprehensively on this topic, that is building entrepreneurial capacity. The previous Monday I wrote on beyond creativity, but this time around, to complete this article, I have written on building entrepreneurial capacity, that is moving from creativity to capacity building to be able to complete what you have started. I have written that leadership is the ability to set goals and also create rules. It is the capacity to see that goals are accomplished and rules are followed. Building entrepreneurial capacity therefore requires leadership competence in 4 critical areas as follows. And I'm going to be talking about these 4 areas in the next, 12 minutes before I open the studio line for our dear listeners to answer 1 or 2 questions and win a token as usual. The first competence under entrepreneurial capacity is creative competence. You can see creativity is also coming up again. As a matter of fact, I read about Walt Disney, who was fired because of the lack of creativity. And I read, it says, one of the most creative geniuses of the 20th century was once fired from a newspaper because he was told he lacked creativity. Trying to persevere rather, Disney formed his first animation company, which was called Laugh-O-Gram. That is Laugh-O-Gram Films. He raised $15,000 for the company, but eventually was forced to close Laugh-O-Gram, following the close of an important distributor partner. Desperate and out of money, that is a motivation. That has always been the motivation for people to want to be an entrepreneur. So he was desperate And because he was out of money, Disney found his way to Hollywood and faced even more criticism and failure until finally his first classic films started to skyrocket in popularity. Yes, you need capacity on this journey because creativity is not enough. Of course, we know that creativity leads to originality, and you must, by virtue of originality, find your entrepreneurial identity. That is it. You must be able to know who you are. What line of entrepreneurship are you into? What is your identity in the entrepreneurial race? So, creativity gives you a space, your own niche, your own identity. You must know what you stand for, your vision, your mission. You don't just do anything as an entrepreneur. You don't just, take on any project. You must be creatively, I don't know how to say this. I wanted to blend creativity with vision. You must be a visionary innovator. You must be a visionary creative. Yes, that was what I wanted to say. You must be able to marry vision and creativity to be able to find your entrepreneurial identity and path. And not just that, you must become a pathological creative. I didn't even mean to do it in such a way. That was very, very deep. Don't just find your path on this journey in entrepreneurship. Become a pathological thinker, innovator, creative. Be addicted to creativity. You cannot survive. That is the foundation of entrepreneurship. Every other thing we are building is capacity. You can see. Can you build anything without a foundation? Nothing is built. Nothing can be built. Nothing can ever be built without a foundation. Entrepreneurship rests on the foundation of creativity. So you can't do away with that. But we are talking about capacity building this morning. And creativity is also part of that capacity building. And that is the first capacity that must be built. Even as we speak, creativity is still the foundation of that capacity. Because of our time, I want to move quickly to the next competence, and that is administrative competence. Administration is the hub of business. Administration is the ability to organize and manage creativity in the entrepreneurial context or within the entrepreneurial context. Now, we are talking about building entrepreneurial capacity. So, administration is the ability to manage and organize creative undertakings, businesses, processes. So, without administration, in fact, no business can ever see the light of day. Because even in this, as I talk about these four competencies, that is creative competence, administrative competence, financial competence, and economic competence, I want you to understand this one, and I'm talking authoritatively that administrative competence, supersedes every other competence apart from creative competence. Administrative competence is that competence that manages every other competence or structure, because you are building capacity, that is, you are building administrative ability, which helps to organize and manage creativity. I am going to be talking about the next competence, maybe next weekend, and that will be financial competence and economic competence. At this juncture, I will delight in opening the studio line so that our dear listeners can call in and answer one or two questions. And the studio line is 0805 388 8933. Again, 0805 388 8933. Before you answer any question, I want you to call in and tell us how well this program has impacted you. The studio line is again 0805 388 8933 and 0704 700 7999. Again, 0704 700 7999. You can also do well to sponsor this program. It needs a lot of sponsorship, and we are open to sponsorship. You can begin to call in as I take this question. I started my topic this morning, and the topic is entrepreneurial capacity, building entrepreneurial capacity. And I mentioned one notable entrepreneur who was fired because of lack of creativity. What is that entrepreneur's name? I mentioned that a notable entrepreneur was once fired because he lacked creativity from a newspaper company. What is the name of that entrepreneur I mentioned on this show this morning on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM? If you actually started with us, I did mention that somebody was once fired because of the lack of creativity. You have an answer to that question. You can begin to call in and answer the question for you to win a token. Now, the central issue has always been and will always be that in entrepreneurship, the ability to move a creative idea from indoors into industry will forever be what we will discuss, whether on radio or in conferences. Because if it was that easy, then everybody would have become an entrepreneur. It's not easy to move a creative idea from indoors to industry. It is not easy to move from conceptualization to commercialization. Many people get it right conceptually, but commercially, that is where the issue is. Conceptually, we've been able to create products that appeal to customers. But now to sell this product to customers becomes an issue. So we get it right conceptually because we are creatives. We think innovatively. Then you rate us very high because give us just 5 minutes. We can come up with creative ideas, solutions, and give you the best advice as touching entrepreneurship and business. We know how to do that. That's why we are called entrepreneurs. But the central issue forever is the ability to now start, sustain, and finish what we should do. It is easy. Permit me to say it is easy to create. I mean, for an average entrepreneur, we are creative, so it is easy for us to create. It may be difficult for others who don't understand what I'm saying this morning. You understand? But I'm trying to say that even though we say creativity is hard, but for creatives, it is their blue ocean. It is their natural habitat. It is not hard for creatives. But what is hard and what continues to be hard for us is the ability to move our creativity from indoors to industry and turn a lucrative idea, to turn a creative idea into a lucrative opportunity. This is Teni Yekolade, aka Think Up, and this is the voice of integrity, Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. I think the question was pretty difficult for our dear listeners, so I will take another question now because I don't want to go back with my gift. I will take another question because I want people to be encouraged to call in this morning. Okay, let me say this. Who is the founder of Virgin Atlantic? Who founded Virgin Atlantic? Your time starts now. You can call in. Remember, when you answer my question correctly, you stand a chance of winning a token, airtime. Who is the founder of Virgin Atlantic? Virgin Atlantic was founded by who? All right, as I expect people to call in, let me begin to wrap it up by saying that, I said it last weekend that entrepreneurship is 25% creative thinking and 75% capacity building. Creative thinking leads to possibility thinking, while capacity building leads to undertaking responsibility. I will take that again as I call it a wrap this morning. Entrepreneurship is 25% creative thinking, which always leads to what? The ability to overtake possibilities, and also 75% capacity building, which also or always leads to the ability to undertake responsibilities. And possibilities are responsibilities. So entrepreneurship is both about overtaking possibilities and undertaking responsibilities. Remember, possibilities are responsibilities. So you need leadership. You need competence in leadership to be able to enjoy the fruit of your entrepreneurial undertakings. It is not going to be delivered to you on a platter of gold. You have to be a responsible hard worker. I will take that again. You have to be a responsible, visionary, dogged hard worker, because that is the only thing that guarantees perpetual productivity in business and entrepreneurship. And I remember vividly that my proxies for both creativity and capacity last weekend was work and teamwork, respectively. That is, when you think of creativity, think of work. When you think of capacity, think of teamwork. The creativity of teamwork is stronger than creativity itself. I think that is the best way to call it a wrap. The creativity of teamwork, the labor of teamwork is stronger and better than creativity itself. This is why I call it a wrap. Remember, success in entrepreneurship or business is not a function of nationality, rather a product of your intentionality. Succeed deliberately, and bye for now.